tape because we've just concluded discussing Buddha. And so to go right from Buddha into Krishna, I think is quite appropriate. The Bhagavad Gita being such an ancient document, but as you see, it just spills over with magnificent psychology because it helps each one of us understand the wars that go on within our minds, and Krishna will speak to us and address these conditions that exist within all minds. And how do we deal with them? How do we deal with ourselves? How do we deal with the purpose of things? So let's go into the Bhagavad Gita for tonight. And those of you that have the sheet of paper, marked 15. Now, it may be a little different. I mean, it's a translation of the Bhagavad Gita. I see a lot of folks will bring in their Bhagavad Gitas, and you know, it's like any other thing. You've got the King James and the New International and the Old International, the left wing and the right wing, and everybody's got one. So we've got one, and let's see how we deal with this one. And I'm sure it should come out in some way relevant to yours. But we have somebody named Sanjaya, S-A-N-J-A-Y-A, and if you look at 15:1, Sanjaya is human instinct, okay? And that's a human instinct that desires to do good. He's actually narrating the whole story. But see, the human instinct is not Sanjaya. He's just a personality which represents your human instinct. Sanjaya is describing what's going on here to the blind king, and the blind king is your carnal nature. Very well intentioned, but blind as a bat, stammering and stuttering into one mess after the other, trying to accomplish things, but always seeming to come up short. So Sanjaya, your lower instincts are revealing the struggle to your well-intentioned but blind carnal mind. Now let's look at 15:1. Sanjaya tells the blind king how the Lord Sri Krishna. Now look at there's something interesting. Sri Krishna. See that word? S-H-R-I. Okay, Krishna. Krishna means Christ. What's Sri mean? King. Christ the King. Exactly whom we're talking about. So here then we have your instinct communicating to your carnal nature about Christ the King, and seeing Arjuna, which is your divine personality, overwhelmed with compassion, his eyes dimmed with flowing tears, full of despondency, and Krishna, okay, consoles him. Because the lower, see, which has been our guide, regardless of how wrong it may be, it's hard to break with it, you know. It's very hard to break with your family traditions. I mean, you may be born Jewish, and all of a sudden you're going to find yourself involved with this stuff. Your whole family and all of your relatives are going to just cut you out. I mean, there are people out in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the Amish people, you know, if one of theirs marries somebody that's not Amish, they're outlawed, outcast. They don't even talk to them anymore. So it's very hard, you know. What are you going to do? Are you going to follow a right principle that you feel in your heart and deep in your mind is the correct way for you to live? Or are you going to, you know, compromise because of your friends or your family or because of your religious tradition or because of your own desires? What about your plans? What about your desires? What about the things you want to accomplish? See? It's really hard. So this is war that's about to happen. You know what's going on here. You got the two armies. You got the armies of the blind king, and then you got the armies of the sons of Pandu, and you got them both ready to war against one another. And look what's happening to Arjuna. Look what's happening to your personality. Filled with compassion. He's sorrowful. He's crying. See, this is you. Inside of yourself, there's this crying going on. This hurt going on. Deep within you, there's a hurt. I want you to go with me to, do you know what I did here? I can't believe this. I brought everything but a Bible. Get me a Bible with somebody. No, I have to get another one because I have the page numbers on here. Right, thank you. Maybe get another one. Okay, the little Bible. The little Bible. Let's go to page 25 in the little Bible and Matthew 24, okay? Matthew 24. Page 25 in your little Bible, Matthew 24. Now what's happening to your divine personality here? It's sorrowing. It's not sure which way to go. And it's coming down to the point where, you know, it's just not really ready to give up the traditional concept. You're looking up at me, so this guy's a screwball. I mean, he's totally out of step with everybody in the world. He's out of step with all of the religions, out of step with the Protestants, out of step with the Catholics, out of step with the Christians, out of step with everybody. And so you don't want to get involved in this, but yet there's something inside of you that says there has to be a way other than what you've experienced in your life to live. There has to be a better way for human beings to live together. And in 24:8, what does Jesus say? All these are the beginning of what? sorrows. See? And there's Arjuna. There's your divine personality in sorrow about what is about to happen. These are the beginning of sorrows. It's your divine instinct. It's in a depression because you don't know what to do. And in 24:6, Matthew 24, verse 6, it says, "And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." Impending wars. And in verse 7 it says, "Nation shall rise against nation." It's nation within against nation within, the beginning of sorrows. See, so here you are. And you don't know whether to believe me, or you don't know whether to believe the guy on television. You don't know whether to believe what you see in the Bible and what the people are telling you. And these people coming down the stairs are telling you, I'm spouting off a bunch of antichrist stuff. I'm some kind of a cult leader. I'm some kind of a guru, a mystic. Don't listen to any of this stuff because you won't be saved. You don't know what to do. And then you got your family coming against you because all of a sudden you're meditating, you're going home and all of this stuff. Your family never did it. You weren't raised that way. What the heck are you into? You're into all this Eastern stuff? You don't know what to do. And so now here's the point where the Lord Sri Krishna speaks. And look what he says, 15:2. The Lord said, "My beloved friend, why yield just on the eve of battle to this weakness, which does no credit to those who call themselves Aryans, and only brings them infamy and bars against them the gates of heaven. My beloved friend," he says. Take a look in your little Bibles to page 105 in the book of John. John chapter 15, page 105 in the little Bibles. John chapter 15. Okay. Go to verse 14. What does Jesus Christ say? "You are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knows not what his Lord does, but I have called you friends." My beloved friend. See? Because you're supposed to know. I mean, you can go on. You can go on and live the way you've been living. You can go on and sit and go through the same ritual. You can go into some church and sing a song and put some money in a bucket, and you can go home and fight with your thing and have a little sex and eat a little, go down to Atlantic City, a little smoke, a little drink, go through the whole doggone ritual, and then all of a sudden one day you croak and you never ever had the slightest idea what the heck you were doing here. Never. No different than a cat, no different than a pig, no different than I mean, even a horse knows what it's doing. It's racing him, and know what it's supposed to do. You know? I mean, a rabbit knows what it's supposed to do, make little rabbits. I mean, but all we do is hang out. And we're intelligent. See, we're the higher level animal. We're not the lower beast. We know nothing. And here, what does Krishna say? My beloved friend, why yield just on the eve of the battle to this weakness? Do you know how many people will come in here and they'll sit and they'll go through the meditation? And then all of a sudden, you know, they'll start feeling good, but then somebody says something to them and they're gone. They can't possibly deal with, oh my God, you know, what am I doing? Because we're so turned into I just wish to God none of you had a name. I wish none of you had a nationality. None of you had a color, but just were people. But as soon as you drop out of your mother's womb, as soon as you drop on that pan and they hit you on the rear end, you got a name and you're either an Italian or a Jew or an Irishman, and once you get that name, 50 million people hate your guts. What'd you do? You might be black. There you are. You don't know. You've been swimming around in this thing in paradise for 9 months. All of a sudden, you're coming out black, and they're discriminating against you. What'd you do? Or you're Polish, and they make jokes. You won't know. You're crying. Oh, they're going to make jokes out of you forever. Because why? You're going to be raised on kielbasa and polkas. Or you're going to be raised on tortellini, mozzarella. Or if your name is O'Leary, you know, you're going to be raised on cabbage and corned beef, what? And booze and everybody and all of this stuff. And then if your name is Ginsburg, here you are, God's chosen people. Everybody hates your guts for really forever. Say, what did you do? You did nothing. What did we forget? The who? Tacos. Chimichanga. Enchilada. Hello, my name is Margarita. We don't want them hanging around here. They'll be moving into the neighborhood next. You see them arrive and slow down? I think there was a real estate guy in there, too. I heard her say, my name is Margarita. They'll own the place pretty soon. You know where those people are. Taco Bell, look, they got their own telephone company. But all of this is because you happen to be born and they put a name on you or a label. See? Now they come in and they put another label on it. You're a Catholic, a Roman Catholic. And this guy is a Protestant, a Baptist, a Southern Baptist. Here's a guy, here's a little kid that nothing to anybody. Never heard anybody in his life, wants to be friends with the world, and he's born a Jehovah's Witness. What chances? Who likes him? He's going to spend the rest of his life knocking on doors already, talking to people. Hey, you should be this. What? I don't know, but read what? Right. And all of this is happening, and you don't have anything whatsoever to do it. And here, then, all of a sudden, you get to the point where you come to say, I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to be an American. I don't want to be a Christian. I don't want to be a Jew or a Mexican or Italian. I just want to be. I want to be one. And here, then, you have to fight that battle within yourself. And Krishna comes up and says, you're right here now. You're ready to go. You're ready to enter in with this struggle against yourself, against your traditions, and this is not the time to quit. Why yield now? Because yielding to the weakness is yielding to the lower part of you that has caused you this trouble all of your life and has brought you to be sitting. What the heck are you doing sitting here in the basement listening to this maniac talk while somebody's running up curling people's hair up there? What are you doing sitting here? And the reason that you've gone to the extreme of sitting here is you have listened to all of that stuff, and it just has never made any sense, and has just placed you in a position of saying, I don't want any part of it. So there's got to be something. Jesus Christ said in Matthew 10:22, you shall be hated for my name's sake, in other words, for the way of meditation, but he that endures to the end shall be saved. That's why they come down the stairs to get at me. They are freaking out because we're teaching them to obey Jesus Christ. Freaking out because we're teaching people to find a kingdom within themselves, find a peace within themselves. Revelation 2:17 says, to him that overcomes will I give to eat of the hidden manna. You know what the hidden manna is? The direction that you should go. You know what hidden manna is? Do you ever see, I haven't done this in a long time, but this is true. Up in Canada, there's the Canadian geese. Somebody's heard this before, but somebody hasn't. And all the Canadian geese are muddling around. There's a chill starting to develop. But Murgatroyd is the head goose. All of a sudden, Murgatroyd is going around doing what gooses do, you know, wiggling. And Murgatroyd, wait a minute. What? Oh, I heard something. I got to fly. Where are you going? I don't know, but we're going. Well, how are we going to get there? I don't know, but we're going to go. And Murgatroyd takes off. How did he know? And a whole bunch of them take off following Murgatroyd. And there's Pierre in the second row. Where the heck is he going? Does he know where the hell he's going? I don't know. He always goes and we follow him. And here's a whole bunch of these geese flying down to Rio or something. They don't know where they're going. Nobody has a map. There's no radar. There's nothing. They're just flying somewhere. And there, after a few days flying, they start to hear, la cucaracha, da, 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 da. Circle in, Murgatroyd, okay, boys, circle in, this is the place. Wind up, and there they are, cucaraching the whole winter while you're up here freezing your little wings off. How did they know to do that? Something spoke to them. Something touched them. That instinct that God, and this is the same thing that Krishna is saying to you. Listen to that. This is the same thing Jesus said, the hidden manna. Listen to that, and I will direct you in the way that you go. You're not going to hear a direction any more than that goose did. You're not going to get a roadmap any more than that goose did. But you'll suddenly start to function. You'll suddenly start to act. And what you will find is that where you had to be, you'll arrive right at the right place, safe and sound. Everything will come out exactly right because you'll plug in to that which Jesus called the single eye. That single eye is in the brain of every animal, every migratory animal. And when they migrate, they don't go in the wrong direction. To him that overcomes. But overcomes what? Overcomes what Krishna is talking about. The weakness that causes you to doubt that this is right. That's what you got to overcome. Let's look at 15:2. The weakness which does no credit to those who call themselves Aryans. Aryans are those who claim to know divine truth mystically, but Aryans are also something else. Aryans are what they call Indo-Europeans. It's a person that has that of the East and that of the West. That which you have right in this place. Those people who have the courage to listen to the wind that blows from the east and allow it then to consume themselves and to come together with those things you've learned in your traditional cultures. Those people who call themselves Aryans, you should know better. You understand the inner principle. And yet, as soon as there's trouble, we become weak in the face of the battle. You know? I mean, how many of you to walk up the stairs and tell people what church you go to? It's a struggle around here. Oh, should I tell them? You know? Tell them! Tell them! Look at page 161 in the New Testament in your Bible. Rest of you in 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 26. What's the Apostle Paul say? I therefore so run not as uncertainly, so fight I not as one that beats the air. In other words, I am determined to fight that fight against the lower instincts. I am determined that I am going to shut down those things that come against me. I am determined that I will shut down those things. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 26. I will not fight hesitatingly. I will not fight uncertainly. I am committing to this. To say, I am committed to taking myself and allowing my mind to be... Do you know what this is all about? You can turn on every television and you can even turn on these New Age preachers and they'll tell you this is the way you got to do. This is the way you got to react. I don't care who they are, and they're magnificent, they're very intellectual, and they're very much consumed with the New Age, and they're all this is good. And you have some in the... And they're all telling you what you have to do. But do you know what the thing is? You can't do it. You'll go to the lecture and you'll take all the notes, but your life is going to be led exactly the way it was before. You're never going to be able to change it. Because as Krishna tells you and as Jesus Christ tells you, you can't change it, you've got to kill it. You've got to kill it. You've got to kill out that instinct within you. You've got to kill out that personality within you, because you can go and you can listen to lectures from now until the cow comes home. Nothing's going to change in your life whatsoever unless you allow that personality, which is you, to die and be restructured with that which is the Christ personality. Then you'll be able to do what Bradshaw says. Then you'll be able to do what Dwyer says. Then you'll be able to do what all of these guys say. But if you still keep trying to change yourself, you're going to be fighting that same fight of guilt that you've always fought. You're never going to be able to do it. Because you go on and you listen to this preacher and you listen to this speaker and you get this course and you take that course and you take the other course and you say the same, but you're sitting there the same person you always were. But once you bolt deep within yourself and that personality which has caused you all that problems is killed out by that divine personality, then it is no longer you who is fighting the fight. It's the Christ personality within you. All things are new. That's what a born-again experience really is. Can't do it any other way. And it says here in 15:2, the weakness brings infamy and bars against them the gates of heaven. What did Jesus say in Luke 11:52? For those of you who don't know, you should open the Bible and take one final look at it. It's in page 11, page 71 in the New Testament. Matthew, Mark, Luke 11. Matthew, Mark, Luke 11:52. And Jesus Christ says it, it's very clear. It's very clear. He says, you take away the key of knowledge because you entered not in yourselves. That's where the key of knowledge is, within yourself. We sat for 3 hours and listened to tapes coming home. And there was a man talking about the things that you should do, and everything he said was correct. But you know what? It really didn't apply if you didn't have a job. It really didn't apply if you didn't have a credit card. It really didn't apply if you didn't have, a middle-class kind of a background. It was all geared to these types of things that, you're not the type of people that do it. We deal with the type of people who are the type of people who say, stick this stuff. I can't do it. I ain't got a dime. What do you want from me? What are you going to do? A guy's going to give a lecture. He's going to charge $105 for a lecture. Who can go? Can the guy that is down in the gutter, can he go? He can't go. So what good is it? Say. And all of these things say, you don't have to listen to a lecture. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to spend 5 cents. But what you have to do is enter within yourself, follow these principles until that sun within you rises and the change is done by that which we call nature or that which we call divine God instinct inside of you. You have to kill out that which is the difficult part of you. You can't change it. You cannot change yourself. You'll never, ever change yourself, because even when you change yourself, there'll be a day. And I've told you many times, my father was an alcoholic, and he changed himself 75,000 times during the time I was alive. Never again was he going to touch, and he meant it. Never again will I touch this stuff. I brought too much heartache to the family, brought too much sorrow to myself. Never again. And it lasted about a week, and bang, until he finally committed suicide, because he said, I can't stop. And all of those little habits that you have, think about them. Whatever they are, you can't change them. You can listen to speakers from out of the you cannot change them. They have to be changed from within. It has to be changed, and there is a source within you that is a higher power that will change those aspects within you. It'll kill them out and change them. You can't do it any other way. Look at page 239 of the little Bibles, Romans 21. Romans chapter 21. What does the Apostle Paul say in verse 25? Romans, what am I talking about? Oh, Revelation 21. Last book in the Bible, Revelation 21, page 239, verse 25, okay? And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. Krishna tells that submitting to the weakness of the lower bars the gates of heaven when we try to overcome. But we see now that the gates of heaven shall not be shut against those who rise themselves into that holy place. 15:3, and this is Krishna again speaking to Arjuna, your divine personality. Why give way? I'm going to show you something interesting here. We're going to see the symbol as male, as mind, and female as emotions. Would you look up and just look at that? This is the way it's done in mysticism. Male is the mind. Female is the emotions and the human spirit. This has always been that way in mysticism from the beginning of time. This has always been taken literally by the world's religions, and that's why women have been degraded. Do you know, and I want to blow this because I got something kind of, do you know that your Bible says that if a woman gives birth to a male boy, she is unclean for 7 days and must be kept out of the camp. But if she gives birth to a female, she's unclean for 14? Do you know that your Bible says that a male slave can be freed after 7 years servitude, but a woman cannot, ever? Do you know that the 10 Commandments puts a woman in the same place as a mailbox, and it says, thou shalt not cover thou shalt not cover someone's wife or their cattle or their garage or their mailbox? Do you know that? Do you know that the entire Bible is the most degrading book that has ever been printed against women? And yet it never was intended that way. It's talking about your emotions. But by taking it literally, as the Apostle Paul says, when you take it literally, you're going to kill people. That's why you need this national organization of women. That's why women don't get the same pay as men, because they have been treated like chattel, they've been treated like luggage, they've been treated like property, and it comes from the Bible. And it's not just Christianity, it's not just Judaism, it's all the world's religions. But here, let's take a look at this, 15:3. O Arjuna, why give way to unmanliness? O you who are the terror of your enemies, shake off such shameful effeminacy. Make ready to act. You know what it is? Why give way to unmanliness? You know what that means? It means that your renewed mind is not controlling this which you are thinking about. You're being controlled by your emotions. Why? Oh, God. Why give way to your emotions? See? You know, I say, people, well, you know, I'd like to. My father is saying this, you know, it's my tradition. It's going to kill you. What good are you going to do to them if you don't know? How are you going to help those in your house if you don't find that light, if you don't find that holy place within you? All you're going to do is go down together. Wouldn't it be better to allow that light to pour forth from within you and allow it to shine within your house and lift them up? Let them be mad now. Wouldn't it be better to let them be mad now, but yet you're able to save them out of the rottenness of this carnal life instead of you saying, giving in onto your emotions, oh, let their emotions be served, and we'll all go down the drain together. Oh, what unmanliness. It's, in other words, don't allow your mind to be shut out by your female emotions. And Krishna says, shake off such shameful effeminacy. See, shake off such effeminacy. Stop acting from your emotions. Do you know what your religion, what do? They jump up and down and jumping over chairs. Everybody's screaming, everybody's singing. All the time. They got your robes on, they got stained glass, they got bells and smoke coming all over the place. All emotions, all to titillate the emotions. Geez, you go on Christmas Eve, they got flowers, all red flowers all over the place, and everybody's singing these songs, and everybody's having a little snappity old snot before we go to midnight service, walking up, the little snow is dripping, and the sleigh bells are singing. It's all titillates the emotions. And then Krishna says, get away from it. Get away from it and get to the mind, to the renewed mind, and let it guide you into what you should be. You are, if you're screwed up, the reason you're screwed up is because you've listened to them, and it's your parents who screwed you up, it's your school who screwed you up, it's your government who screwed you up, it's the law who screwed you up, and you got to rise above all of that stuff and start standing with He who is the Christ within you and unscrew yourself. Remember what that thing I did with, that speech I did about the golden screwdriver? You got to let the Christ come in you and take that golden screwdriver and stick it into that screw where everybody's been screwing you all your life and unscrew the thing. That's right. And so what is this talking about? You know what this whole thing is? Oh, the whole scenario of this battle. Oh, my grandfather, my uncle, my mother, my father, all of this stuff. It all symbolizes your traditions, your concepts, your family, and all of this stuff. Oh, I don't want to break off from them. Oh, I don't know. What am I going to hurt them? Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? You heard what Krishna said. What did the other Krishna say? The other Christ the King, Jesus, say. Take a look at page 75. In your little Bibles in the New Testament, go to Luke chapter 14. Luke chapter 14. What does Jesus Christ say about this battle? Huh? Ready? If any man, chapter 14, verse 26. If any man come to me and hate not his father, and his mother, and his wife, and his brethren, and his children, and his sisters, and his own life, then he cannot be my disciple. Krishna, Jesus, they're saying the same thing. The hell with your traditions. The hell with those things which have bound you to this rotten way of living. Break away from it. Who's your father? Your father's your carnal mind. Who's your mother? Your mother is your emotions that controls your emotions. Who's your sister? That which is connected to your emotions. Who's your children? Those which are the offsprings of your carnal thoughts. Those which are the offsprings of your carnal emotions. And Jesus says you got to hate all of that stuff. Well, you cannot be a disciple of Jesus Christ. And Krishna is saying, don't quit now. And don't give me this soft soap stuff about your emotions and your family. You've got to fight this. Please, for God's sake, do not go out this door saying that Jesus Christ saying you got to hate your kids. Please understand that children are the offspring, the thoughts that come out of your emotions and the thoughts that are born out of your mind. Those are the things you've got to hate. Your father is that which is the directive force of your mind. Your mother is the directive forces of your emotions. Those things you've got to hate. The others are people. Say, all the things that Arjuna has been depressed over is the same thing Jesus Christ said. You got to come against it. You got to be willing to war against it. You got to be willing to kill it out. Unless the attachment is such You've got to get to the point where you're willing to enter in regardless of what they say or what they think, or you cannot be my disciple, says Jesus Christ. And you know why? The reason is, if you stay and listen and listen and listen, their thoughts or your own thoughts will discourage you from this path, and you'll fall off of it. And you'll spend your life until you come to that day, and you'll have spent your 80, 90 years, whatever you get, and you'll say, what the heck did I do? Ask yourself. You're sitting here now. What did you accomplish? How long have you been alive? What have you accomplished? What do you want to do? Count up how many times you went to the bathroom? How many times you had sex? Huh? How many times you won at the slots, maybe? How many times you went on vacation? What'd you do? Oh, you got a job? You retired? They gave you a watch. And now the watch don't work. And you can't find anybody who knows how to fix it because it's from Formosa or some screwy place. What'd you get? What are you going to do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And you're sitting here and you can't say, what the heck did I accomplish? And until, I tell you right now, until I reached and I found this truth, I'd accomplished nothing. I was looking for it, seeking it. All I knew was this world was screwed up. I was screwed up. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I'm sitting on a tennis ball in the middle of space going 40,000 miles an hour with nobody driving the blasted thing and looking for security. All of us are running around this tennis ball like a bunch of little ants looking for security. The thing's going 40,000 miles in between comets and meteors and constellations, and we're going to have security. For what? For what? So that you can die. Do you ever see them coming on television? Ed McMahon, here's an insurance policy. You can get this for just 30 cents a month. And it'll cover your needs. What needs do you have when you're dead? No needs. Everything covers you, even religion. Religion is here for what reason? So you have a nice time when you're dead. Get lost with the nice time when I'm dead. I want to have a nice time when I'm alive. Right now. When I'm dead. Someone's got to come to the funeral parlor with me, lay in a box and say prayers. It's too late, buddy. Way too late. The only thing that happens then are those things underground start going, Somebody's coming for dinner. Don't get upset. You're not there. You know, some people think that it's like when they took your junk car. They didn't take you with the car to the junkyard. Do you go visit your car? Your old 52 Ford Fairlane, you go visit it? Oh, I love that damn car. Oh, it didn't start, but I loved it. You don't go. What are you going to? Why do you go to cemeteries visiting dead bodies? Why? And you go in there. I showed Joan the other day. We drove past where my father is buried. It looks like a tenement in the Bronx. There's 50 million statues. You couldn't find a guy if you wanted to. You make a left over at this statue, go down Rigor Mortis Lane, take a left at Cataract Arrest, and you'll find him right over there. See? So what do we want to do? We want to find out what this is all about and have life now. And Krishna says, this is not the time to quit the battle. This is the time to fight. Draw your sword and charge. That's what Jesus said. Look at verse 15:7. Here's Arjuna, it's just about croaking out. From here on in, it's all Krishna. Thank God. My heart is oppressed with pity. My mind confused as to what my duty is. Therefore, my Lord, tell me what is best. Did I miss something? Gee whiz. But I've gone so long. I thought something was screwed up here. I didn't know what it was. Just real quick, okay? This here, you know, why didn't you say something? You know, this here is where preachers tell the wife that they must be subjected to their husband. when actually this thing about being subjected to the husband means that the emotions must be subjected to the mind. The Bible's all mysticism. Okay. Real quick then, 15:4. I'm sorry. Arjuna, my Lord, how can I, when the battle rages, send an arrow through Bhishma and Drona, who should receive my reverence? That's causes many people. You know who Bhishma is? Okay? Bhishma is your desires, your physical desires, and your family and the desires that you have for your friends, and you know, the hopes and dreams that you have for the future. And Drona is religion. Religion. You know what you're saying to yourself? I can't give up everything that I planned, and how can I turn my back on this? I mean, this has been holy to my family. Oh, my father was buried in the church, and my mother, you know, and I was an altar boy, and then I sang in the choir, and I did this, and I can't turn my, how am I going to, this, I should be down on my knees thanking these people. I should be down on my knees thanking this, for they educated me, and they gave me all that I have. I mean, now all of a sudden, how am I going to do this? And now the mind really crashes in 15:5. Rather would I content myself with a beggar's crust than kill these teachers of mine, these precious noble souls. To slay these masters who are my benefactors would be to stain the sweetness of my life's pleasure with these blood. To slay your family, your religion, to turn your back on all of this. Notice it's the masters of the ruling qualities of the ego that's got to be killed in this battle, the masters, you know. Ephesians 6:12 says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Did you know that? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers of the darkness of this world. You know the rulers of the darkness of this world? You know where they are? In here. They're in here. You've heard from some of them today. They talk to you today. They talk to you every day. As soon as you open your eyes, you'll hear from one of the rulers of the dark world tomorrow, telling you how screwed up you are and how everything is going to down the toilet. You know, I get it all the time. When I come in here tonight, you know, Al got delayed. I figured that whole thing's falling apart. The picture fell off the wall and broke. The kids are coming down and telling everybody, and I figured, hey, what's going on? The ruler spoke. As soon as you screw up a little bit, the guy's talking to you. Yeah, man, you are really screwed up. You're probably going to get fired. You're probably going to lose your job. You know, everybody's ticked off with you. They don't want you around anymore. All of this stuff goes through your mind. Of course, it doesn't go through yours, it's just mine. See, our struggle is against ignorance. Do you know why it's against ignorance? How old are you? Some of you people are over 15. Some of you are over 20, 30, 40. You know what? And you know what? Many of you have never, ever even heard of the Bhagavad Gita before. Never even knew that it existed. Here is a document about your mind setting forth a play with all of the characters of your mind and how you react. And when you hear Krishna start to speak in earnest next week, directing you on what life is about and your part in it, you'll be amazed. And you've never even known that this thing existed. Why? Because they said stay away from that stuff. Not that it's bad, but if you're liable to find something good that did not come from them. Jealousy, stay away. You're like a jealous husband. In verse 15:6, nor can I say whether it would be better that they conquer me or for me to conquer them, since I would no longer care to live if I killed these sons of Dashrata, which is the blind king now preparing to fight. It's some come here, it's too strange. They can't come away from their loves, you see. Now we're back to where we were, 15:7. My heart is oppressed with pity. My mind is confused as to what my duty is. Therefore, my Lord, tell me what is best for my spiritual welfare. And look what he says. For I am your disciple. Please direct me. Who is your disciple? The divine personality within you is talking now, not your carnal mind, not your ego. This is Arjuna, your divine personality, which is disciple to that which is the Christ within. You remember what Jesus said? Unless you hate your mother and father, in other words, unless you're willing to turn away from those aspects which has guided your life and put you in the septic tank, all of you, unless you're willing to turn away from that, you can't be my disciple. But here's your divine personality speaking now. I am your disciple, but yet I still have these feelings. I'm a human being, and I don't know what to do. My husband gets mad at me because I come here. My wife gets mad at me because I come here. People are talking about me because I come here. I hear this stuff about you. I hear this stuff about what goes on in this place. I don't know what to do. But yet I know that I can't continue to live like that, so I've got to find some way within me that's the right way. 15:8, For should I attain the monarchy of the visible world, or over the invisible world, it wouldn't drive away the anguish which is now paralyzing my senses. Arjuna is heavy of heart because should I obtain the monarchy of the visible world, as we're wrapping this up, go to page 3 in the New Testament. Go to the book of Matthew. Go to Matthew chapter 4. Matthew chapter 4, in verse 1. And then was Jesus led up with the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And you know what happened up there? He was showed all the kingdoms of the world, all the monarchies of the world. And he was led into a temptation that he should choose these kingdoms. In other words, he was led up by the human spirit into the wilderness of confusion to be tempted of his desires. When you have a desire really to break loose and do your thing, even though you know it's going to get screwed up, it might even hurt somebody, you're being tempted then in the wilderness. The wilderness is confusion. And you're brought up to a high mountain, which means that your own ego, the highest part of your lower carnal nature is your ego. And when your ego takes you up into that thing, you're about to set into movement something that could really be horrible for you and for your family and for your friends. Should I obtain monarchy over the visible world? What did that thing say to Jesus? Say, look, don't get involved. Don't you see what's going on here? The same thing that Krishna is telling Arjuna. You've got to decide. The same thing that Jesus hit him with when he was in this desert of confusion. The devil said, look, if you worship me, I'll give you all of this stuff. It just means you've got to make a decision. Are you going to stay with that which is the left side and your family and your friends and your tradition? That's what this is all about. It's exactly the same thing. The Krishna and Arjuna in this particular thing is exactly the same thing. Arjuna is tempted in the desert of the wilderness of his mind, and he is willing to give up the whole thing because he doesn't want to offend his connections to that which is the world. And Krishna is speaking to him in the same way that Jesus is tempted in the desert, and he's not sure whether he wants to give up for all of this thing of running around trying to change the world and do good. He could have it a lot easier by just laying back and floating with his friends. That's the same thing. And Arjuna says here, look what he says here. And look at it in 15:4, Arjuna says, how can I do this? My heart is broken. 15:4, how can I? 15:7, my heart is oppressed. My mind is confused. Now go to page 29 in the New Testament, Matthew 26. And look at what Jesus says. Matthew 26. Okay, page 29 in the New Testament, Matthew 26, verse 38. And he took with him Peter and the two sons and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. And he said unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Stay here, watch with me. Arjuna is saying, I am filled with sorrow. I am filled with confusion. Jesus is saying, I am filled with sorrow. I am filled with confusion. And Krishna comes in the center. And Jesus, and Arjuna says, look, I don't think I want to do this. And Jesus says in Matthew 26:39, Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. I don't think I want to do this. Arjuna says, I don't think I want to do this. Jesus says, I don't think I want to do this. And they both sought that which is the Lord that was dwelling within them. And he came in between that battlefield that was camped at the left side and the right side. And he spoke to Jesus and he spoke to Arjuna. And he said, this is not the time to quit. Fight on, my noble friend. Fight on. And inside of you, where that same battle rages, and where those same armies draw their swords to crash, there in the center, between the wings of the cherubim, the Lord of glory speaks to you and says, don't quit now. Not on the eve of the battle. And if you're sitting in this room, you're on the eve of the battle. Don't quit now, for the victory will be yours. fight on, fight on. And I love, as I just thought of the statement that was made in Exodus, I believe 14, to Moses, when God said, Moses, you be still. The Lord will fight for you. The battle is his. Well, next week